Okay, how to use a scroll saw safely. So I've got my eye protection on, and just some key things to remember about using the scroll saw are that the front of the blade is sharp, but the back and the sides are not. So when we're cutting, we want to keep our hands and our fingers either side or behind the blade. So our fingers are either side or behind the blade. We try not to push through here, because if we slip, we're going to cut our fingers. Okay, so next, when we're cutting, we want to make sure we hold our material down so it's nice and firm, because if we don't, it will bounce up and down, which will not be very good for the blade, which, as you can see, is quite a fragile, flexible blade. Now, we must be wearing our eye protection. I'm going to have this on a high speed to start off with, and I'm just going to go very slowly, and I'm just going to move the wood around the blade. So here we go. So as you could see, I went nice and slow. I wasn't pushing very hard. I was letting the saw blade do the work for me. So the blade was cutting and I was just gently maneuvering the MDF around the blade. So to cut our wood is quite simple. Now, there are some things you should never do. So let's say that we cut into the material and we make a mistake. I'll just show you. Let's say, for example, that I've made a mistake here and I've stopped the saw with the blade in the material. The worst thing we could do for this saw blade right now would be to twist this around. That will bend the blade. Also, we never try to pull our material out when the blade is off. So if you wanted to remove this material, you would have to have the saw back on. To do that, we hold it down firmly, turn the saw on, and then back the saw blade out following the line. And I'll just show you how to do that now. So, very simple to use a scroll saw, but we just need to remember those key teaching points. So number 1, fingertips to the side or behind. Number 2, always holding our material down so it doesn't bounce up and down. Number 3, we don't push too hard. Okay, very gentle, and we move our material around the blade. You let the blade do the work. Number 4, if we are cutting and the blade is in the material, we never ever pull the material out if the blade is off. The blade must be on. So, I would encourage you to have a go. There's plenty of scrap wood you can practice with before you cut out your prototypes. One other technique which is worth mentioning with the scroll saw is, if you are not confident cutting curves, you can actually cut a curve doing lots of straight lines. So what I could do here is I could cut down here, and then I could cut another straight line, and another one, and another one. So you don't have to be an expert to do the cutting of the shape that you need. So I'll just show you what that looks like. So as you can see, we've managed to cut our rough shape just doing straight lines. Now from here we can shape this by sanding or using the rotary tool.